And the new advanced registration that was also announced. So, and at the end of each little section of our presentation, there's going to be a time for you to ask questions. We also have received a few questions, and we will be giving you the answers to those as well. So Amanda, if you want to pop to the next slide. All right. So the Super Series, the format of the Super Series and the qualifying process to provincials is very similar to past years. Not a lot has changed, but I wanted to just we wanted to take this time and just go over it briefly today. We are doing, as we have done before, a Super Series registration, which is really a survey that we're asking everyone to complete. The difference is this year we're asking all skaters who intend to compete in a Super Series event to complete the registration, not just those who intend to have their score tracked for the purpose of qualifying. There is a yes/no question within the survey. So it's going to help us tremendously if we could have a sense of all skaters who are intending to compete, so we can have a sense of where everybody is and make sure that we have a good handle on all of our skaters across the province. So even if you have a skater who wants to enter a Super Series event, but really isn't intending to qualify towards provincials, or maybe they just want to do one event that works best for their kind of yearly planning, we would ask that you complete that registration. So we, again, can just have a handle on and have a good sense, especially as we return from COVID, of what numbers we have in each category across the province. The registration window for the Super Series is open from now. Basically, I think it opened last Friday, and it will stay open until December 15th, which will give coaches, skaters, parents lots of time to decide what their plans are for the year, but will give us on the back end a lot of time to make sure that we have the information we need to also look ahead to provincials and understand what the numbers of entries we can expect there. If you're looking for the registration link, you would want to find it on the Skate Ontario website. Under the Compete tab, you'll see a drop down that says Event Info Series. And if you click on Super Series there, it'll take you into Document, and the link is right there for you to complete for the Super Series qualification. If you have a skater who is competing in more than one category or discipline, we would ask that you do complete a new registration for each of those. We have set it up so that you can do multiple entries from the same computer for the survey, so you should be able to complete it more than once. As I said, within the survey, you can indicate, or the skater or the parent can indicate if they would like their score tracked. And as always in the past, we're going to use the scores that have indicated they want to be tracked and ranked to determine entries into the provincial championships, which will happen later in March. Okay, over to the next slide. There's a couple of just slightly new things with the Super Series this year. As you can imagine, it's an interesting season as we return to competitions after basically a season with no events last year. Our goal is to make sure that all of our skaters across the province have access to competitive opportunities as we come back this season. And what we have determined is the best way to manage this is to ask skaters that they may only enter 2 competitions between January 1st and March 6th for Super Series events. We're trying to avoid a situation which we know has happened in the past, where some skaters are able to register for 3, 4 plus events, and other skaters are only able to enter, 1, or may not be able to get into 1. So we're really aware of that, and we're trying to come up with creative solutions to help you as coaches, and also help you plan your season so that you can kind of plan that out. And Kelsey's going to talk a little bit about that in terms of the advanced registration piece a little bit later. We also, after I know it's been a few years of conversations, we're very pleased to announce that artistic skating will now be a qualifying event for provincials. So if you took a look at the document that went out last week, we included artistic as one of the categories within provincials, and the numbers of skaters that will qualify in each area are listed in that document that went out last week. Okay, and I think, oh yes, the one thing I just wanted to clarify, we did have a couple of questions about this. There was a slight error on the opportunities chart regarding solo dance. So on the opportunities chart that was referenced in the Super Series, there is an indication that Super Series solo dance categories would qualify to provincials, but that was a slight error. So currently this year, it is not a category that will qualify forward to provincials. But as always, we're always looking at our event composition and talking about the qualifying structure and having conversations with coaches. There's a conversation that'll be going on over the course of this year that Kelsey is going to be leading. And as part of that, we can still have that conversation going forward if it's determined that solo dance would be something to consider adding to provincials in future years. So we did have a few questions that came in since we released that information on Friday. So before I open it up to the coaches that are on the webinar right now, I thought I'd share some of those questions in case maybe they answer a question you might have in your mind. So question number one, if you want to flip the slide, would be, can a skater who has entered a qualifying category at sectionals compete in an artistic event? The answer to that is yes. We currently do not restrict skaters from competing across disciplines between provincials and sectionals. So currently, for example, a skater, a pre-novice man, might compete at sectionals, but he's allowed to enter a star 6 to 7 dance event or couples dance event, for example. So in this example, if a skater entered a category that does compete at provincial or sectionals, they would be allowed to enter an artistic event, such as this example here. A novice woman could enter a gold artistic event or whichever event truly that matches the assessment requirements, because of course those would need to be met as part of the entry into that category. Next question that we received, are there maximum ages in place for Super Series categories? Given, I think, everything that's happened over the last couple of years and the fact that we know that there's a lot of skaters out there that may have wanted to compete over the last couple of years, weren't able to because of COVID, we currently do not have maximum age restrictions in place. We have not established them for this year. But again, that's part of the conversation we would have going forward. But for this current year, there would be no age restrictions in place on the top end. I think there was just maybe one more question that we came in. Oh, we wondered if you might be wondering about synchro, as was mentioned. More information about synchro qualification, synchro series qualification will be coming hopefully in the next week or so. We know that some of you are anxious to hear about that. And lastly, was there one more question? No. Okay. So if you want to pop back to the previous slide, Amanda. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about the Super Series itself, the qualifying process that I've just mentioned, or anything related to any of those? You can pop it in the chat or raise your hand or come on screen, unmute yourself if you do. We're happy to answer anything. Because if you have a question, somebody else might have the same one. Don't see any brave souls coming forward. Well, okay. If there are, just hang on to them and we can definitely circle back at the end. And I'm going to pass it over to Kelsey now, who's going to talk about the GTA Advanced Registration.
Great. Thanks, Regan. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Great to see everyone here today. I'm going to give you a quick overview and background to the GTA Advanced Registration. I'm also going to answer some questions that we've received to date and give you an opportunity to ask questions you may have or that you may have received from parents at the end. If I can't answer, then I'm sure one of my wonderful colleagues here today will help with those answers. So, the GTA Advanced Registration, what is it and why are we doing it just for the GTA? So, the GTA Advanced Registration is a registration process that was designed to help facilitate registration for January and February events held in the GTA, and specifically giving GTA skaters the option for advanced registration into a GTA event per month. Why are we doing this? So ultimately, we wanted to help minimize frustrations for coaches, parents, and skaters and get ahead and plan for this advanced registration. I'm sure you can all remember, oops, sorry, is everything okay? You guys can still see me? Okay, I'm sure you can all remember that in the not so distant past, event registration day was an exciting day, I'd say, for everyone. So parents, coaches, and Skate Ontario staff included. Registration would open and the first 400, 500, 600 people would get in, and the rest of the skaters would be put to wait list and sometimes not necessarily get into an event. And we wanted to avoid that in this year. So in 2019, 2020, we launched a pre-registration for all skaters for the Super Series, Star 1 to 4, and Synchro Series. Over the past few years, we've been collecting and analyzing registration data. And a piece of registration data that really struck with all of us was that in 2019, 2020, there was around 1,600 skaters that registered for the Super Series events. This did not include Star 1 to 4, but Star 5 and above categories. And out of those skaters, 900 of those were from the GTA. Just because I love geography also, and you guys can see the map here in front of you, I wanted to take a moment to let you know what we consider the GTA. So from the kind of west to the east, we've got Kitchener to Oshawa, and from the north to the south, we have Barrie to like the corner of Niagara Falls. So that's the geography for this when we're talking about this advanced registration. Amanda, do you mind switching over to the next slide? So that's the why. The options for you. So we have identified that we have 4 events offered within the GTA boundaries in January and February. So we have 2 events in January and 2 events in February. So specifically the events, so as skaters and coaches with skaters, your skaters have the option to choose between 2 events in both January and February. So for January, their option would be Grimsby, January 7th to 9th, or the Super Series in Milton, scheduled for January 21st to 23rd. And then the February option is choosing from the GTA competition scheduled from February 11th to 13th, or Georgina, February 25th to 27th. You also have the option to opt out and not go to those events. It's not required that you do those. Next slide, please, Amanda. Okay, so some important dates for you to put on your calendar. We want to help minimize everyone's frustration, as I was talking about before, but we do have some hard dates and time-sensitive deadlines that are coming, so I just wanted to make sure you're aware of these dates. So a really important deadline for you to share is Monday, November 1st at 9 a.m. to the parents. So that is when parents must complete the advanced registration online. So that's number 1, really important one to do. Number 2, so for the January events, parents will receive a link from Skate Ontario by November 8th, letting them know which of the January events that they'll get advanced registration for. So they will receive that link by November 8th. And so once they have that, registration for Grimsby and Milton will open Tuesday, November 9th, and will be open to Sunday, November 14th. What's really important to communicate to your parents and for you to be aware of for this one is that once parents receive this link to register, they do not have to rush to register on the 9th, for example, for those January events. They have that link, so they have as long as they get in there and register before November 14th, then they can go in there at their leisure. If they do not register by the November 14th deadline, then they no longer have that spot. But it's really important that they don't have to rush for that November 9th to get in there. They do have until the 14th to register as long as they have those links. And for the February events, so those are scheduled to open up Friday, November 19th and close on November 24th. So again, the parents will receive a link before by the 18th of November. And then parents will have that time till the 24th to go in there at their leisure and register. Okay, and then the next slide. So a couple questions that we've received that we just wanted to cover. If I miss the deadline and I live in GTA, what are my options? So really what for that scenario is that there will be a public registration access for registration, and that's what they would access. So that's why it's really important for parents to complete the advanced registration just so that they get an event before. But there is always an option that they can register after if they miss it. The second question is if my host club is not, sorry, I didn't mean to say host. I just default to that. My home club is what I meant to say. If my home club is not in the GTA, can I register for advanced registration? The answer is no, but you can access the public registration window for GTA events. Number two, can I register in 2 categories? And absolutely you can. We just ask for you to complete 2 separate registrations. So that's no problem. So if you're in 2 different disciplines, you can absolutely fill that out twice. Okay, and I think I saw a couple questions come up. I wonder if I can answer.
Kelsey, we answered Denise's question that she
put great. Thank you.
Yep. So Denise put a question in that said, can a skater compete in a star 1 to 4 competition and then still do 2 competitions in the super series? So for example, a Perfect. Star 4 skater that wants to move up, and the answer is yes. The limit to 2 is currently only for the super series events. The link. Okay,
so the link for the advanced registration, yeah, so that's on our website underneath compete. I'm gonna find it here right now. So underneath compete, sorry, I just need to refresh my memory here. Underneath compete, Oh yeah, so then there's event series information. And then if you go to the super series, there's a gray block for super series. And then all the information is there about super series, provincial championship qualification information, as well as the GTA advanced registration. That's your go-to for all things super series on our website. We can put it in the chat here too.
Kelsey, another question just came in from Roxanne. Do you want to address that one? There's a competition listed for Northwest in January, but no host yet. Does that look promising for happening?
Yes, I hope so. I hope so, Roxanne. Yep, we're working on that one.
Heather's asked if a skater wishes to compete in both Star 6 and Star 7, can they do advanced registration for 4 spots? So both categories at both events. Typically, I don't think we allow skaters to, Michelle, I'm looking to you or Kelsey to confirm. Can a skater enter like the same, like free skate? Like they can't compete in Star 6 and 7 at the same competition, but maybe this is more they don't know which they're going to compete in scenario.
Yeah, right. I think they could. They're doing a free skate and a short.
Oh, a Star 7. Oh, of course. Yeah, then yes. Sorry, I'm blanking there for a sec. So the answer would be yes, I believe, right, Kelsey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Rebecca asked, do scores from the Stratford competition count towards provincials? And the answer is yes, they do. They will. It's just the only thing we're saying is Stratford is outside that window that counts towards the 2 competitions, but it's still part of the qualification, and it would still be part of the ranking series. If you selected yes, you want your scores ranked, anyone entered from there would have their Stratford score listed. So you put the link to there, and I'm going to pop the link to the, or maybe Sharon, would you be able to do that? Would you be able to put the link for the super series registration in? Do you know where to grab that? She's giving me a thumbs up. So yes.
These are good questions.
Someone asked that. Okay, I don't see another one coming in. Trying to think if there's any. We did have a couple of questions that came in after the fact about when people went in to fill out the survey, they didn't find their category was listed. So if you find any of those out, just pop us send an email to either sport department or events department, and we'll correct the survey. It's our first time doing it, so we did miss I think there was a Star 9 category that was missing, so we've added that in case you were looking for that. I think Sharon just popped up the link to the Super Series registration. So that's not the advanced registration. That's just to register to be part of the Super Series. Peggy's asked for pre-novice for provincials or for Super Series and higher. Is it just long program or both? And it's just a free program once again that they will be doing.
Mhm.
So that is the same as in past years. And also referenced in the document, if you go to the link that Kelsey put up about the Super Series, you'll see information about the number of, you can click on the Provincial Championship, Super Series and Provincial Championship document, and that will give you also information about the numbers of entries in each category that will go to provincials.
Right.
All righty. Any last questions that are coming in? Oh, Denise has another one. Okay. Kelsey, maybe that one's for you. Denise has a question.
So
skaters
Denise,
inside the GTA, will they be guaranteed to still get into 2 competitions in Super Series?
I mean, Denise, so at this point, it's hard because we've been out of cycle for the past little while and really understanding how many people and how many skaters are out there at the moment based on past years from before, and based on the competitions that we are hosting in different areas. We are really hoping that it will be okay. It's really tough to guarantee without knowing how many people are committed to this season. But based on how we've designed and it's worked in the past, it should look good for people outside of the GTA, because that's again why we're focusing on this advanced registration for GTA, because it was not the case in the past. So I think it should work out.
Mm-hmm. You're right. It is difficult, Denise. But yeah, and like Kelsey mentioned, those numbers that we looked at were really, telling when we looked at 900 skaters trying to get into events with only 600 spots. That wasn't necessarily the case out of the GTA. Outside of the GTA, we didn't see that type of over capacity, over registration happening for those events. Typically. Carly has a question for ice dance teams. Does only one partner fill out the survey for advanced registration? And I think so. I think, Kelsey, right? It's just per spot. You just want to,
Yes,
I think
please.
there's a spot in there for is it for the partner? I'm not sure if that one has a partner one in there or not, but yes, just one. You just need to sort of indicate that event and that one spot will be held. Tracy says, with the registration opening on November 9th for Grimsby and Milton, will you know by then if the Northwest competition is happening? For some of us living closer to there, it might depend on whether they register for Grimsby or Milton. Good question.
It's a good question, Tracy. I think I'll follow up with you about that one afterwards. Yeah, I'll have to follow up with you on that one. I don't have a guarantee at this moment in time.
Okay. Okay, Carly's question is good. Okay. Let's see if there's any other last questions before we say goodbye today. I'm trying to think if we haven't had too many other questions coming into us, but if you do think of any other questions as you go through this, whether they're related to the advanced registration or whether they're related to the Super Series qualifying in general, just send an email. It's in that document that we linked to, either to the sport department or to the events team. And we can certainly get back to you as soon as possible with whatever answer that we'll do our best to collect for you. Heather's asked a question. Kelsey, I think for you, is there any possibility of more events being added in March, either Super Series or Star 1 to 4?
At this moment, actually, there's one update we did want to do for the Star 1 to 4 series, just to give you guys an update that we haven't done. There's a Milton, so the Milton Star 1 to 4 is actually scheduled for March and not February. There was an error. So that one is actually March 4th to 6th, the Milton Star 1 to 4. But other than that, we do not have any plans to add any Star 1 to 4s or Super Series in March, in addition to what you see on the calendar.
Okay. I think overall, we're just very excited as a team, as a organization, to be looking at having events again. I know your skaters are probably excited. I know we are. So it's just so exciting and promising to have the look ahead look as good as it does currently, in the sense that things look to be heading in the right direction, that these events I think are going to happen. We'll be able to have a qualifying process. So I would just say at this point, if you can help us by passing along this information to your skaters and their parents, to complete the registrations and the advanced registrations as need be. We will be doing some more reminders. I think Kelsey will probably do maybe a follow-up e-blast in the next couple of days, possibly just to get the word out there so people know that that really quick deadline is coming of November the 1st. As Kelsey said, if they miss the November 1st, the registration is still open. So it's just, they won't be necessarily have that spot for sure, but to be seen, depending on how many take advantage of that advanced registration, right, Kelsey?
Exactly. Yep.
And and then just a reminder too, that for even if you have skaters that are just doing super series for development and not necessarily wanting to compete to register to qualify for provincials, please have them fill out that survey within the link. It will help us on our event planning and understanding sort of where all the skaters are. And that link, as a reminder, will be open until I believe it said was 3 p.m. on December the 15th. So, and we will be sending out reminders about that. And we will also in the next week or so be sending out an interim list. So you can see as coaches who has registered to date. Because I know sometimes that's a question. People say, well, I think my skater registered. I'm not totally sure. So we will put that up as an interim posting in the next, we'll give it another week or so. And we've already had quite a number reply already to be part of the Super Series, which is super exciting. I think our number this morning was over 300, which was great, just as part of the registration, not the advanced registration, but that's very promising. We're so excited that there's so many skaters out there keen to be part of our events.
They're back. It's great.
Yeah. All right. So with that, I think maybe we'll wrap up. And as always, reach out to us with questions or anything that you need for support, or if we haven't addressed anything here that you'd like us to do so, please send an email and we'll be sure to get back to you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody.